These scenes are at the heart of what Mumbai stands for. Men and women constantly on the move, struggling to surge ahead. Each one has a different story, but together they are the spirit of Mumbai. A city that lets you breathe, feel, and thrive. A city that makes you its own. Each day in the lives of these millions is a living, flourishing example of this zest. But as the city was going about business as usual, on the 22nd of August, it all came to a crashing halt. My city, Mumbai, made me feel vulnerable. Fear and insecurity gripped me.
Never before has the city of Mumbai witnessed a crime as gruesome as this. The gang rape of a young photojournalist in the heart of the city have changed perceptions significantly. This mill behind me has witnessed that despicable act, and despite the fact that this location is just a 2-minute walk from a busy thoroughfare, there was no help for the hapless victim. Mumbai, a city considered to be safe for women, seems to have remained just a myth now.
It was a weekday. The sun had not set yet. The street lights were just coming on. The rush to retire for the day had gripped city dwellers. And right then, a 22-year-old trying to do her job, trying to make a living, was gang raped.
The victim and her colleague were on an assignment, a photo shoot. They'd seen the abandoned Shakti mill from the outside before. They were, in that sense, familiar with the location, and they thought that would make an interesting photo opportunity. So they went there via the railway tracks, walking along the railway tracks. A couple of these criminals, these 5, who happened to be there at that point in time, saw them go inside. They called up their other colleagues. The 5 of them got together, and by the time the victim and her colleague had proceeded deep into that 8-acre, almost forested area, it's actually deeply vegetated, and they accosted them, they put pressure on them, they assaulted the colleague, the male, and they carried out the heinous crime. As you know, we have recreated that crime yesterday. We had gone to the spot with the criminals.
When I came to Bombay, of course, I was a starving working person. I took buses everywhere. I was never hassled. I lived in a women's hostel. We used to walk from hostel in Colaba to every bar on Colaba Causeway. We would walk back. We were never harassed. When we'd go to a nightclub, the waiters and the staff would make sure that nobody came and spoke to us. They protected us. That was the Bombay I grew up in, literally. You know, when you're in your 20s, and you move to a new city, you feel like you're leading a new life. I always feel I grew up in this city. I worked in television. I took taxis home at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. You didn't feel fear. Now when I tell these stories to the young girls who work with me, they look at me like I'm an alien or a very, very old woman, because they say we would never dream of doing it. And I think the recent rape at Shakti Mills sort of proves that at 6:30 in the evening, you're out at work. My old office used to be in that area. We were in the famous studio area. We can't believe that this happened.
No, she wasn't alone. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't provocatively dressed. She was doing what most people do at that hour. She was working. It wasn't dark. A male colleague was with her. It wasn't a disreputable part of the town either. A photojournalist was gang raped by 5 men and left there at the site of the crime.
The question is, could we have prevented it?
Could you have?
The answer is perhaps if you had adequate number of police personnel, perhaps if you had adequate video surveillance, it could have acted as a deterrent. But habitual criminals perhaps still could have attempted crime, and then could we have prevented a crime in progress? These are the questions we are asking ourselves. One clear thing is that as the population grows, the police force must keep pace with that. We need a lot more policemen on the ground.
They have completely taken disadvantage of the vulnerability of the victim on that day, and the fact that she was accompanied by just one single other person, and they have carried out this completely heinous and diabolic act without any regard to human sensitivity, and I think it's something which deserves the highest punishment.
Mumbai couldn't protect its own. She had just embarked on the journey of life, but a 22-year-old girl was forced to stop. She was forced to face the harsh reality.
They're sick, but they're not sick in the medical sense, and in the sense that they don't know what they're doing, and therefore that can't be a defense in a court of law. There is no plea of insanity which is going to save them. They were completely aware of what they were doing and what the consequences of their actions are. They're criminals. 3 of them have a criminal record. They are fringe elements in society. They push drugs sometimes. They consume alcohol and drugs. They steal railway property, basically to support their habits. And they don't really play any role in society, and they have no responsibility towards anybody. So they're marginalized in that sense, which with no expectations that society has upon them. They have low self-esteem, because of which they are capable of performing such depraved and degrading acts.
But she's not the only one trying to earn her bread and butter, trying to make a name. The incident has sent a chill down Mumbai's spine.
More than me, I think the people around me, they've suddenly become very scared about me as being a girl. They want me to be back home at time, and just the reactions that, just be safe. I definitely feel very sad about that incident.
Most women in Mumbai, at least till this day, have held on desperately to the hope that women are safe in this city. Now that faith has been brutally violated.
Some guy had the cheek to ask, what were they doing at 6 in the evening in a deserted mill? What were their intentions? You fool. You filthy pig. They were out working. And even if they wanted to go and be alone with each other, that's a very natural thing. It's natural to be attracted to somebody. It's natural to have urges. It's natural to be men and women.
She too is a photojournalist, and her work just the same as that of the 22-year-old.
Your work is taking you somewhere, how you're working day by day, and I was becoming stronger and stronger day by day. So you can say now me, 12 o'clock you can go anywhere, I can go. It doesn't matter. Yeah, of course scary, because when I'm traveling in the train, girls are talking, women are talking. That day one police lady also, she was talking, madam, how you're working, how you people are going alone, and before that the train was completely empty, and how you people was going alone and this and that. So I was okay, it is okay. So she's saying, no, I'm in the GRP, Railway Police Force, but I'm scaring.
Mumbai has given her a reason to fear, a reason to be insecure.
If you go in the slums also, if you go anywhere on this kind of places where some guys who don't have a work, they're just coming and just chatting and just moving around. They are, of course, whenever I'm just shooting like this, oh, just wait, something like this, and somebody is saying behind, oh, madam, hamara bhi picture nikalo, hamara bhi khicho, and all, some bad languages, Absolutely. I understand what they're trying to say, but it's just a comments. So many things happen that sometimes if I'm shooting like this, I'm sitting like this, and somebody is doing something, they're throwing something on me.
A spate of horrific incidents starting May this year with a young Navy recruit attacked with acid at Bandra station, attempt to rape on a nurse in the VRs in a compartment like this, a blade attack on an American woman again in Mumbai local, and then finally the horrific gang rape. In fact, according to a survey published, as many as 84% of women commuters say that they face sexual harassment in Mumbai locals just about every single day.
If
One incident has forced a million others to question the safe image of Mumbai. Mothers, fathers, teachers, everyone is now suddenly unsure of the future, unsure of the safety of their loved one.
I have a 3-year-old daughter, and both our parents are working, and we live in a society like the rest of Mumbai, everyone does, and of course we have security and everything, but one does get worried when she goes to the garden, when she goes when she goes to the garden to play and everything. Now obviously one is more worried now, one is going to be more cautious, one is going to be more careful, because earlier that we were very carefree कि मुंबई में ऐसा नहीं होता है, but now we can't say that. We can't say अभी मुंबई में ऐसा नहीं होता है. So we have to be a lot more careful. All parents have to be more careful. All girls have to be more careful. As men, we have to be alert and see that if something is happening in front of us, we have to take action against it.
Even 10 years back, these parents were not forced to raise an alarm before their little children.
Father of a 9-year-old child, it kind of, sends a chill down your spine, because, kids are out at that time of the day, either coming back from school, they're in a school bus at times, they're, possibly in the building, playing downstairs. So, it just seems suddenly that a city that was always considered to be safe is somewhere kind of losing or potentially losing that status.
Now the alarm is not just necessary, it is mandatory.
I think the way we'll have to guide our children, and the way I would guide my child, is definitely educate them about not talking to strangers, not going off anywhere alone, not, even with the staff, going to places that they're not supposed to go to, or that we've told them not to go to. If they've been told to go to the park, then just to go to the park and come back from the park.
How else do you protect your child from the clutches of the faceless predators spread across the city?
I can completely empathize with what firstly her parents are going through at this point in time, and certainly empathize with what the girl is going through. Okay, but all I would tell this girl is, keep the courage and ensure, and we're all with you, to ensure that these culprits who've done this to you need to get the strictest punishment that's possible within our constitution.
I felt I'm safe here, and my daughter is safe. She's 12 years old, and today I want to think again before I send her out alone. At 5 p.m. in the evening, if we feel unsafe, I have no clue what time we can feel safe.
There have been crimes in Mumbai before. There have been horrors before.
As a proud Mumbaikar, I must say that I myself am surprised that this kind of thing, this offense which we are discussing today, can take place in the heart of Mumbai. I'm born in the city and brought up here. I have never seen anything like this happening. And if you'd asked me 10 days ago, I would have said it's unthinkable that something like this can happen. But the unthinkable has happened. We have got the accused. We will make sure that they get the maximum punishment. But that's the legal part of it. I think there is a larger issue that we have to address, and that is the feeling that women have today that they're vulnerable. We can't deny that, and we shouldn't deny that, because it's only if we admit it that we can address it.
But this time the wound is much deeper. And for it to heal, there is much left to be done.
And I'm like, how much more careful can you be? I mean, even that poor girl's parents, I can quite imagine what they must be going through. But the fact that she's actually managed to go through it, and I'm glad she complained and whether she went to the police and did all of that. I think the biggest problem is that a lot of women are so scared to report it. And I think that's the biggest thing. You have to report it. You cannot be quiet about it.
I was started shouting chor chor chor, but वहाँ पे कोई मेरी हेल्प के लिए नहीं आया. Not even a single person. वहाँ पे इतना क्राउड था एरिया, इतना क्राउडेड एरिया था, बट किसी ने मेरी हेल्प नहीं की.